The idea of building a human spaceship to fight the Zorgons seemed crazy at first, but as weeks passed, it started to feel possible. All around the world, scientists and engineers worked together on the secret project they called Operation Starshot. In Millbrook, Mike's team focused on smaller battles. They used Emily's connection to the alien orb to plan clever attacks. One day, they'd managed to capture a Zorgon soldier alive. At first, the alien refused to talk, but Emily found she could understand its thoughts through the orb. "It's afraid," she told the others. "Not just of us, but of its leaders." This was big news. If there were cracks in the alien army, humans might be able to use that. Meanwhile, in the Amazon, the natives who could talk to plants made an amazing discovery. Some of the trees had roots that went incredibly deep, so deep they touched a weird glowing metal. "It's the same stuff the alien ships are made of," Dr. Park said when she saw pictures. "Earth has had this material all along. We just didn't know how to find or use it." This discovery sped up the spaceship project. Now humans had the right materials to build something that could actually fly in space. As humans made progress, the Zorgons got more aggressive. They attacked harder, trying to crush the resistance once and for all. But each attack taught humans more about how to fight back. In Australia, the weather-controlling surfers faced their biggest challenge yet. A massive alien ship, bigger than any they'd seen before, appeared over Sydney. "Time to make some waves, mates," said Jake, the leader of the surfer team. They focused all their power, calling up a storm like nothing in recorded history. The huge alien ship struggled against the wind and rain. Lightning struck it again and again. Finally, with a sound that shook the whole continent, it crashed into the sea. Cheers went up around the world as news of the victory spread. Humans had taken down the biggest alien ship yet. But the real shock came a few days later. As teams searched the wreckage, they found something unexpected. Some of the Zorgon crew had survived. These survivors were different from the soldiers humans had fought before. They were smaller with softer features, and they were scared. Through Emily and the orb, humans learned the truth. These weren't soldiers at all. They were scientists and engineers, forced to work for the Zorgon military. "We never wanted this war," one of them said through Emily's translation. "Our leaders lied to us about humans, said you were dangerous animals that needed to be controlled." This changed everything. Humans realized not all Zorgons were their enemies. Maybe there was a chance for peace after all. But the Zorgon leaders weren't interested in peace. When they learned of the crashed ship and the captured crew, they were furious. They decided it was time to use their most powerful weapon. As the alien mothership approached Earth, Dr. Tanaka's team raced to finish the human spaceship. They called it the HSS Hope. "We're not ready," Dr. Tanaka said, looking at the ship. "We need more time." But time had run out. The mothership was charging its main cannon, a weapon that could destroy whole continents. In Millbrook, Emily suddenly fell to her knees, holding the orb. "I can feel them," she gasped. "All the Zorgons. They're connected somehow. And there's something else." Mike knelt beside her. "What is it, Emily?" With tears in her eyes, Emily looked up. "There's another alien race out there. The Zorgons are running from them. That's why they need our planet." As this news spread, humans faced a tough choice. Fight the Zorgons with everything they had, or try to find a way to work together against a bigger threat. The HSS Hope wasn't fully ready, but it was Earth's only chance. As the Zorgon mothership prepared to fire, a small team of brave humans blasted off in humanity's first real spaceship. The fate of two species now rested in their hands. The battle that would decide everything was about to begin. As weeks passed, the aliens tightened their grip on Earth. Cities lay in ruins, and millions of people were missing. But in small pockets around the world, hope began to grow. In Millbrook, Mike Chin's group worked tirelessly. They turned the old barn into a secret base, filling it with stolen alien tech and homemade weapons. Emily, the young girl who had escaped the aliens, became their secret weapon. Her small size let her sneak into places adults couldn't go. One night, Emily crept into an alien camp. Her heart raced as she moved between the huge, sleeping Zorgons. She found what she was looking for, a small glowing device. Quickly, she grabbed it and ran. Back at the barn, the group studied the alien gadget. Dr. Lena Park, a scientist who had joined them, made an exciting discovery. "This device," she said, holding it up, "it's like a key to their ships." Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, more humans fought back. In London, a hacker named Zach found a way into the alien computer systems. In Rio de Janeiro, Maria and her team of surfers used their knowledge of the ocean to hide from alien patrols and gather intel. The aliens noticed these small acts of defiance. They sent more troops to crush the humans, but each time they destroyed one group, two more seemed to pop up. Back in Millbrook, Mike's team prepared for their first big move. They planned to use Dr. Park's discovery to sneak onto an alien ship. It was dangerous, but they had to try. On a moonless night, the team moved out. Mike led the way, with Emily close behind. They approached the massive alien ship, their hearts pounding. Using the stolen device, they opened a hidden door. Inside, the ship was like nothing they had ever seen. Strange lights pulsed along the walls. The air smelled like metal and something else they couldn't name. They moved carefully, knowing that one wrong step could mean death. Suddenly, alarms blared. The team froze. "We've been spotted," Mike yelled. "Run." They raced through the ship, aliens hot on their heels. Emily, small and quick, darted ahead. She found a room full of strange, glowing orbs. Without thinking, she grabbed one and kept running. Somehow, they made it back to the exit. As they jumped out, the ship began to rise. They watched in awe as it wobbled in the air, then crashed back to the ground with a thunderous boom. Miles away in New York, Sarah Johnson felt the ground shake. She looked out her window and saw an alien ship falling from the sky. For the first time in months, she smiled. Someone out there was fighting back. The news of the downed ship spread like wildfire. Humans everywhere felt a spark of hope. In hidden bases and secret meetings, people began to organize. They shared information, planned attacks, and dreamed of freedom. The aliens were furious. They had never expected such resistance from what they saw as a primitive species. They increased their attacks, destroying whole towns in their rage. But their actions only made humans fight harder. In Africa, tribes that had warred for generations now worked together against the common enemy. In Asia, ancient martial arts were combined with modern technology to create new fighting styles. Back in Millbrook, Mike's team celebrated their victory, but Emily was quiet, staring at the orb she had stolen. "What is it?" Dr. Park asked, examining the strange object. "I don't know," Emily replied, "but when I hold it, I can feel the aliens. It's like I can sense where they are." The team looked at each other in shock. They had stumbled upon something big, maybe the key to turning the tide of the war. As night fell, resistance groups around the world prepared for more battles. They were still outnumbered and outgunned, but now they had something the aliens didn't expect: hope. The aliens had counted humans out, thinking them weak and easily conquered. But they were about to learn a hard lesson. Humans, when pushed to the brink, could be the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion, humanity had a fighting chance. The alien orb Emily had stolen became the center of attention in Millbrook. Dr. Park worked day and night to understand its secrets. Meanwhile, Mike and his team used Emily's new ability to plan more attacks on the Zorgons. One morning, Dr. Park burst into the barn, her eyes wide with excitement. "I've figured it out," she shouted. "The orb isn't just a tracking device. It's a key to the aliens' whole network." The team gathered around as Dr. Park explained. The orb could tap into the Zorgons' communication system. With it, they could listen to alien plans and even send false messages. Across the ocean, in a hidden lab in Tokyo, another breakthrough was happening. Dr. Akira Tanaka, a quiet scientist who had been studying alien technology, made an amazing discovery. The aliens' weapons, he told his team, they're powered by a strange energy. And I think humans can use it too. Dr. Tanaka had found a way to harness the alien energy. It was dangerous and unstable, but it opened up new possibilities for fighting back. As news of these discoveries spread through secret channels, hope grew among the resistance. Humans were starting to turn the aliens' own technology against them. Back in Millbrook, Emily was practicing with the orb. Suddenly, she gasped. "They're planning something big," she said, her voice shaking. "The aliens are going to attack all the major cities at once." Mike quickly sent out warnings to other resistance groups. Thanks to Emily's warning, humans were ready when the attack came. In New York, Sarah Johnson filmed as people fought back with new weapons based on Dr. Tanaka's discovery. Bright beams of energy lit up the sky as humans and aliens clashed. In London, Zack used his hacking skills to confuse the alien ships, making them crash into each other. The city was badly damaged, but for the first time, the aliens were forced to retreat. The Zorgans were shocked. How had the humans known about their plan? How were they using energy weapons? The alien leaders began to realize they had underestimated their enemy. As the battles raged, more humans discovered hidden strengths. In the Amazon rainforest, a group of natives found they could communicate with the plants and animals. This ability let them hide from aliens and set clever traps. In Australia, a team of surfers learned to predict and control the weather. They used massive storms to disrupt alien operations along the coast. These new powers weren't just tricks or technology. Somehow, the alien invasion had awakened abilities that had been sleeping in human DNA for thousands of years. Dr. Park had a theory. The stress of the invasion, she explained to the Millbrook team. It's like it flipped a switch in some people. We're evolving, adapting to fight back. Not everyone developed these powers, but those who did became key players in the resistance. The aliens, who had thought humans were simple and weak, found themselves facing an enemy that grew stronger every day. In their hidden base on the moon, the Zorgan leaders argued. Some wanted to give up and leave Earth. Others insisted on bringing more forces to crush the humans once and for all. As the aliens debated, humans pressed their advantage. Using the orb, Emily eavesdropped on their plans. "They're scared of us now," she told Mike with a smile. But the war was far from over. The Zorgans were still a mighty force, with technology far beyond Earth's. And they were angry. In a secret meeting, resistance leaders from around the world gathered to plan their next move. They had weapons now, and some had powers. But they needed a way to drive the aliens off Earth for good. As the meeting went on, Dr. Tanaka shared his wildest idea yet. "What if," he said slowly, "we could build our own spaceship, take the fight to their home world?" The room fell silent. It seemed impossible. But then again, just months ago, fighting the aliens at all had seemed impossible. As the sun set on another day of war, humans everywhere prepared for what was to come. They had surprised the aliens and themselves with their strength and cleverness. But the hardest battles were still ahead. The Zorgans had counted humans out. Now, they were counting on wiping them out. But humanity was ready to show the universe what they were really made of. The day the aliens came was like any other. People went about their lives, unaware that everything was about to change. In New York, London, Tokyo, and cities worldwide, the first signs appeared in the sky. Strange lights blinked, growing larger by the second. John Smith, a regular office worker in Chicago, looked up from his computer and saw the massive ships through his window. His mouth fell open in shock. "What on earth?" he whispered. Within hours, the alien ships were everywhere. They were huge, dark, and scary. People ran in the streets, trying to find safety. The army tried to fight back, but their weapons did nothing against the alien technology. The aliens spoke to humans using a strange machine that translated their words. Their message was clear: "We are the Zorgans. Your planet is now ours. Do not resist." At first, world leaders tried to talk to the aliens. They offered peace and friendship. But the Zorgans didn't care. They saw humans as weak and stupid. To them, Earth was just another planet to add to their space empire. The Zorgans were tall, with green skin and 4 arms. They moved fast and had weapons humans had never seen before. One blast from their guns could destroy a whole building. As days passed, more people died or were taken by the aliens. Cities burned. Farms were destroyed. It seemed like the end of the human race was near. Sarah Johnson, a brave reporter, risked her life to show the world what was happening. She filmed the aliens up close, showing how strong and scary they were. Her videos spread online, making people even more afraid. "The aliens are too powerful," many people said. "We can't win against them." But not everyone gave up hope. In a small town called Millbrook, a group of friends refused to accept defeat. Led by Mike Chen, a former soldier, they started to plan. "We may be weaker than them," Mike told his friends, "but we're smarter than they think. We can find a way to fight back." The group met in secret in an old barn outside town. They gathered weapons, food, and information about the aliens. It wasn't much, but it was a start. One day, as they were planning, they heard a noise outside. Everyone froze in fear. Had the aliens found them? Slowly, Mike opened the barn door. To his surprise, he saw a young girl, no more than 12 years old. Her name was Emily, and she had walked for days to find help. "The aliens took my family," Emily said, tears in her eyes. "But I saw something important. I know how to hurt them." The group listened as Emily told them about a weakness she had noticed in the alien ships. It wasn't much, but it was the first real hope they had. As news spread of the resistance group in Millbrook, other people started to join. They came from all walks of life: teachers, doctors, farmers, and more. Each person brought new skills and ideas. The aliens noticed that some humans were fighting back. They sent more ships and soldiers to crush the resistance, but they still didn't take humans seriously. To them, it was like stepping on ants. Little did they know, the ants were about to bite back. In secret labs and hidden rooms, humans started to study the alien technology. They found ways to use it against the Zorgans. It wasn't easy, and many failed attempts led to more destruction. But slowly, surely, humans began to understand their enemy. As the first part of this great war came to an end, the future was still dark. But a small light of hope had been lit. Humans were weak compared to the aliens, but they were far from defeated. The real battle was just beginning. The days following the great battle were filled with both joy and hard work. All around the world, humans and friendly Zorgans worked together to rebuild. In New York, Sarah Johnson filmed as alien technology was used to clear rubble and construct new buildings in record time. Her reports showed people everywhere how the two species were learning to cooperate. Meanwhile, on the captured mothership, now renamed Unity, Captain Alvarez and her team made an incredible discovery. The ship's database contained maps of the entire galaxy, including information about the mysterious enemy that had chased the Zorgans to Earth. "They're called the Void Swarm," Dr. Tanaka explained to world leaders. "They consume entire planets. That's why the Zorgans were so desperate to take Earth." This news brought a new sense of urgency to the recovery efforts. Humanity now knew they weren't alone in the universe, but they also knew they weren't safe. In the Amazon, the tribe that could communicate with plants had a brilliant idea. They started teaching Zorgans how to regrow forests on their home planet, which had been stripped bare during years of war preparation. Zach, the hacker, worked with Zorgan engineers to create a new combined human-alien internet. This system would allow instant communication across the solar system. Emily's powers had grown stronger than ever. She could now connect minds across vast distances, helping to foster understanding between humans and Zorgans. She became a symbol of the new unity between the species. But not everything was easy. Some humans still distrusted the Zorgans, and some Zorgans found it hard to adapt to Earth. There were conflicts and misunderstandings. To help solve these problems, a new organization was formed, the Galactic Cooperation Council. It included representatives from all human nations and Zorgan clans. Their first big decision was to start a joint space exploration program. "We need to be ready," Captain Alvarez told the council. "The Void Swarm is still out there." Work began on a fleet of new ships, combining the best of human creativity with advanced Zorgan technology. The HSS Hope became the model for these new vessels. As months passed, Earth changed in amazing ways. Zorgan technology helped solve many of humanity's old problems. Clean energy became the norm, and many diseases were cured. In return, humans helped the Zorgans rediscover parts of their culture they had lost during years of war. Music, art, and even cuisine flourished as the two species shared ideas. 1 year after the Great Battle, a special ceremony was held. In every major city on Earth, and on the Zorgan homeworld, millions gathered to celebrate their victory and new friendship. At the ceremony in New York, Emily stood on stage with human and Zorgan leaders. Using her powers, she connected the minds of everyone watching, letting them feel each other's hopes and dreams for the future. "We were enemies," she said, her voice carried to every corner of two worlds. "Now we are friends, allies, and maybe even family. Together, we can face anything." As she spoke, the first ship of the new fleet, named Harmony, took off from a launch pad in the Sahara Desert. Its crew, a mix of humans and Zorgans, waved to the cheering crowds on screens around the world. Captain Alvarez, commanding this historic mission, looked at her diverse crew with pride. "Our destination," she announced, "is the edge of our solar system. From there, we'll establish an early warning system against the Void Swarm." As Harmony disappeared into the sky, people everywhere felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The future was uncertain, but they would face it together. That night, as the celebrations continued, Dr. Park stood with Mike Chen, watching the stars. "You know," she said, "a year ago, those stars only meant danger to us. Now they represent hope." Mike nodded. "The aliens thought they had us beat," he said with a smile. "Instead, they made us stronger than ever." As shooting stars lit up the sky, a meteor shower caused by debris from the battle, humans and Zorgans alike made wishes for their shared future. The aliens had counted humans out, but humanity had not only survived, they had thrived. Now, alongside their former enemies, they were ready to take their place among the stars. The greatest adventure in human history was just beginning. As the HSS Hope raced towards the Zorgan mothership, the world held its breath. For the first time in history, all of humanity was united, watching and waiting. On board the Hope, Captain Maria Alvarez gripped her seat. She had been a surfer in Rio before the invasion. Now she was leading humanity's most important mission. "All systems ready," reported Dr. Tanaka from his station. "But remember, we're not fully tested. Anything could happen." Back on Earth, governments that had been enemies for centuries now worked together. The United Nations building in New York became the headquarters for Earth's defense. Emily, with her unique connection to the alien orb, was at the center of it all. She sat in a special room, surrounded by screens and the world's best scientists. "I can feel the Zorgan mothership," she said, her eyes closed. "They're scared too. Their leaders are pushing them to fight, but many don't want to." This information was immediately sent to the Hope. Captain Alvarez knew they might be able to use this to their advantage. Meanwhile, humans everywhere prepared for the worst. In cities, people built underground shelters. In the countryside, farmers hid food supplies, but they also prepared to fight. Dr. Park had managed to copy the alien energy weapons. Now factories around the world were making them as fast as they could. In the Amazon, the tribe that could communicate with plants had an idea. They started growing special vines that could trap alien ships. Soon, other places with big forests were doing the same. Zach, the hacker from London, taught people all over the world how to disrupt alien tech. Kids as young as 10 were learning to shut down Zorgan computers with nothing but a smartphone. The Australians shared their weather control techniques. Soon, there were teams in every country ready to call up storms to defend their homes. But the biggest surprise came from the oceans. Marine biologists working with the surfers made an incredible discovery. Whales and dolphins could understand the alien language. "It's like they've been waiting for this moment," said Dr. Chen, the lead biologist. "They've known about aliens for thousands of years." With the help of these marine mammals, humans could now listen in on all Zorgan communications. It was a huge advantage. As days passed, the HFY Hope got closer to the Zorgan mothership. Captain Alvarez knew they had to act fast. The mothership's weapon was almost ready to fire. "We need a distraction," she told her crew. "Something big enough to make them pause." That's when they got a message from Earth. Emily had an idea. Using the orb and her growing powers, Emily reached out to every human with special abilities. There were thousands now, all around the world. She asked them all to focus their energy on one thing: peace. At a specific time, everyone acted together. Weather controllers calmed storms. Plant communicators made flowers bloom in impossible places. People with telepathic powers sent thoughts of peace to the Zorgans. For a moment, the whole world seemed to hold its breath. On the Zorgan mothership, alarms went off. Their sensors were going crazy. They had never seen anything like this. This was the chance the Hope needed. They flew closer, ready to use the weapon Dr. Tanaka had designed. It wasn't meant to destroy, but to disable the mothership's main cannon. Just as they were about to fire, Captain Alvarez got a surprising message. It was from the Zorgan ship, but it wasn't from the leaders. "This is the science team," the message said. "We want to talk. We don't want this war any more than you do." It was a critical moment. Captain Alvarez had to make a big decision. Should they trust this message or stick to the original plan? As the Hope hovered near the massive alien ship, the fate of two species hung in the balance. The next few minutes would change the course of history for both humans and Zorgans. Earth watched and waited, hoping that their bravest explorers would make the right choice. Captain Alvarez made her decision. "We'll talk," she told her crew, "but stay alert." As the HSS Hope docked with the Zorgan mothership, tension was high. Dr. Tanaka kept his hand on the weapon controls, ready for anything. Inside the alien ship, they met the Zorgan science team. The aliens looked nervous, their forearms twitching. "Our leaders lie to us," one Zorgan said through a translator. "We don't want to destroy your world. We need help." Just then, alarms blared. The Zorgan military had discovered the meeting. Chaos erupted as both humans and rebel Zorgans ran for safety. Back on Earth, Emily felt the confusion through the orb. "Something's wrong," she told the UN leaders. "We need to help them." Governments around the world sprang into action. They launched every spacecraft they had, even ones that weren't fully tested. In the skies above Earth, a massive battle began. Zorgan ships loyal to their leaders fought against human craft and rebel Zorgan vessels. The Australian weather controllers whipped up storms to confuse enemy ships. In the Amazon, giant vines reached up, grabbing and crushing Zorgan fighters. Zach, the hacker, led a team that broke into the Zorgan computer systems. They shut down weapons and life support on many enemy ships. But the Zorgan leaders had one last terrible plan. They aimed the mothership's main cannon at Earth. If they couldn't have the planet, no one would. On the mothership, Captain Alvarez and her team raced to stop the weapon. They fought alongside rebel Zorgans, using their new energy guns. Dr. Tanaka worked frantically to override the cannon's controls. "I need more time," he shouted over the noise of battle. That's when Emily had an idea. Using all her power, she reached out through the orb. She connected with every human on Earth, and every friendly Zorgan too. Focus on the cannon. Her voice echoed in millions of minds. Imagine it shutting down. Believe we can stop it. All around the world, people closed their eyes and concentrated. Even those without special powers joined in. On the mothership, something amazing happened. The cannon, moments from firing, began to sputter and shake. It's working. Dr. Tanaka yelled. Keep going. The Zorgan leaders watched in horror as their weapon fell apart. They had never seen anything like this united power of two species working together. But the battle wasn't over. The leaders, desperate now, ordered all their ships to crash into Earth. They would destroy the planet by sheer force. Captain Alvarez knew they had only one chance. We need to take control of the mothership, she told her team. It's the only way to stop all the other ships at once. In a daring move, humans and rebel Zorgans fought their way to the ship's bridge. The final showdown with the Zorgan leaders had begun. The fight was fierce. Energy weapons flashed, and strange alien technologies clashed. Both sides took heavy losses. Just when it seemed the humans might fail, help came from an unexpected place. The whales and dolphins, communicating through special devices, confused the enemy's organs with powerful sonic blasts. This gave Captain Alvarez the chance she needed. In a dramatic moment, she and a rebel Zorgan scientist managed to reach the main control panel. Together, human and Zorgan hands pressed the buttons that would decide the fate of both species. All around Earth, enemy ships suddenly stopped in midair. The threat of global destruction was over. A cheer went up around the world. In every city, every village, humans celebrated. They had faced the greatest threat in history and survived. But even as they celebrated, they knew this was just the beginning. There were still enemies out there in space, the ones the Zorgans had been running from. Earth had a lot of work to do. They had a planet to rebuild, new alien allies to work with, and a whole galaxy to prepare for. The aliens had counted humans out, but humanity had proved them wrong. Now, as Captain Alvarez looked out at the stars from the bridge of the mothership, she knew one thing for sure. Whatever came next, Earth would be ready.